Salutations, boys and girls and kiddos of all ages, and welcome to another video of Posing Action Figures with Toy the Poser. And yes, I am your host, Toy the Poser. And first, I would like to thank all returning viewers and to all my new viewers of the channel. I just want to let you know that this is not your average toy review channel. Just a simple little showcasing of all the things I like to show off and collect in the form of action figures and toys. And I will show you exactly what I mean when I go behind the camera into giant mode. So away I go. Whoop, whoop. Okay, this video is going to be about the Marvel Legends series, Spider-Man Marvel Legends, or however you want to call it. The Owl. And although, he has fought Spider-Man before, and he still does, I think, the Owl is basically more of a Daredevil villain. Yeah, so this is the single card package, so it won't really be no side or bottom or top or just a front and back of the character, so, and of course, for people that like boxes and packages and things of that nature, I hope you can see this well and see it well. Let me see if I can take some of that can I take some of that glare off for you? All right, just there we go. So yeah, barcode, wordy stuff, and what everything this line has to offer. And of course, since if you for those who don't know, I don't like characters, figures of characters that I've already have versions of. So yes, even though it says Spider Venom, this is still Peter Parker with the Venom suit again, just a different flavor of him. And of course, Spider-Man 2099 and this Uncanny Spider-Man. It's really Nightcrawler in a Spider-Man costume. It was a sport down for it. But the Owl, Hypno Hustler, and Cardiac, I do not have. This is the first time they've, I think, made characters, versions of these characters in, I think, in a 1/12 scale. So that, there's that. And of course, the Owl himself, who we're going to talk about. I'm trying my best to give you guys a good, how about that? All right. Without stretching my arm out to smithereens, but doesn't matter because we're going to go ahead and magical poof this guy out. Let me adjust my camera back like I had it. All right. And go ahead and magical poof the guy out. And we're going to talk about the Owl. So magical poof. All right. He doesn't have a whole lot of accessories. All right, stand. Can you stand up for me, buddy? That's good enough. Okay. Not a whole lot of accessories. 2 open claw hands. And although I think these are new, but I don't know. Like I said, this is why I don't do that whole thing of trying to compare to see if these are reused or scaled from another mold, from an original, another character or something like that. Because it doesn't matter, because the Owl need these hands. And although he does have a pet owl as an accessories that does Jack Deadly Squat, except look like this. He does have a pet. The pet owl just doesn't have a name. So it's basically like the penguin or in his pets or whatever. Just having pets around, pet penguins around. I don't know. He has a pet owl. Okay, the pet owl doesn't have a name. However, there was talk. I think the Owl's nickname, one of his nicknames, is Hootie, and I think that's one of those little goofy nicknames Spider-Man gives him. So we're gonna call this little guy, this little pet owl here, is Hootie. Fun fact: if you know the name, much about the musical rap group Outkast, Big Boy of the Outkast does have a pet owl named Hootie. So here's another Hootie. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. And here's the owl. And I am going to say, first of all, before you start posing action figures, heat them up, kiddos. It's very wise to put them in hot water or put them in front of a little heater or something to loosen up the plastic, soften up the plastic and joints. So risk your chance of breakage. Okay? So heat up your action figures before you start moving them around and posing them. Okay, that's that. And man, this is gonna be one of those. I already knew it was gonna happen too. This is gonna be a rant video, guys. And as much as I don't like rant videos or making rants, complaining about your action figures or something, sometimes you just can't help it. Okay, so he has a lot going on. For all you customizers and stuff, things like this, like because he has these hands, the default hands have claws on them, that you can just take off and put on. Okay. I'm gonna take them off because by the way it felt, yeah, I thought so. They felt like they came off pretty easily. Okay, for right now. He has okay, let's do a little alternate head thing. Head comes off. He has that whole little Wolverine cut looking thing. The only reason I'm doing this part is because I know that these things are his coat and things come off. Do they supposed to, or does it as if like it's a special feature or nothing? Not really, but just to take it all the way off. I don't know if who body this used to be or whatever. It's just single jointed elbows, but it has a bicep swivel, so that's always a good thing. This whole the whole cream colored shirt with a little turtleneck. Anywho, but I just wanted to do that to show you that apparently this is a reuse of obviously Dr. Octopus. Which one I don't know. Or whatever. So I don't know if this is the whole well, the owl does have this thing like that, but I don't know if that was the whole reason of doing that. But my thing is that why? I don't care about the reuse of the body, but first of all, things like this right here, I'm like, you could have just, and at least it's loose and kind of movable. But why do that? Why? Of course, a scarf. Once again, I'd have no idea why. I wonder if there's one of those reasons why that they say, well, because it's an accessory. And it's like, does this count as an accessory? It shouldn't, but anywho, okay. But my main gripe is putting this down for is this coat. All right, that's not as hard of a plastic anything, but it's things like this is gonna just make it hard to put him in like really cool poses when he's in costumes like this. So let's put it back on. All right. If it was going to do anything, I mean, you could have just gave us just this coat, this thin, and this pliable. It would have been just fine. And move away these little hard shoulder pieces so the range of motion could be better. But okay, once again, I hope I paid the rent for now. I got a funny feeling I'm gonna this. I mean, I really like the fact that we got a new character. I'm loving that. And come on, get back on. Okay, time to magic. Okay, let's see how long this lasts. And sorry, kiddos, that I had to use magic to do this, cold post, and put it here, but trust me, it was for the best. And just in case if anybody wanted about his hand that I swapped out, it is reusable, but you got to keep in mind that there is a piece of, I guess it's supposed to be like his shirt, the arm of his shirt out. So yeah, it is reusable. Of course, it has those little slots in it so you can put his claws in it. But there you go. Enough about that. And let us see if we can find out more about. Because I'm not gonna rant no more. So let's just. I'm trying not to rant no more. So let's just go ahead and find out more about who this guy called the Owl really is. Created by Stan Lee and Joe Orlando, and first appearing in the Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, issue number 3 in 1964. Leland Owsley was pretty much a respectable businessman, a financer, who technically got, I guess, audited by the IRS for doing shady business transactions, I guess you could say. However, and while he was on the run, he's basically started a life of crime. Okay, and formed a criminal ring, or whatever, however you want to say it, and was basically nicknamed himself the Owl and formed a gang called the Owl's Gang. Well, so just in case you was wondering what was up with the whole owl thing, it basically didn't have nothing to do with his abilities until later, when Leland got his hand on some kind of serum or drug or whatever that gave him the ability to glide, for a short distance. I think it was only about 100 feet that he was able to glide. But the more he took the stuff, it enhanced that ability to help him fly. Although it was still to a certain degree, but yeah. And there you have it. That's basically Leland Owsley, aka the Owl, in a nutshell. So with that life of crime and those special abilities, he kept being a menace to society. And like I said, he was technically first a Daredevil villain, that till later on in life, he got married to an unknown lady, and that him and that unknown lady had a daughter. And that, like I said, this guy is not a whole lot of lore to this guy, but he wasn't always a B-list villain. He did start it off as a major villain to a point where I guess a major enough to note that in the live action Daredevil series, he's the actor Bob Gunthorne portrays him, Lindsay Owsley. So, like I said, I was like, he hasn't always been a B-list villain, but that's that. And believe it or not, he's not he's not much of a slouch of a villain. Even though this little power grid doesn't, these little power grids are wonky. I think I've already said that before, but regardless of the fact, besides Owl's ability to fly, of course, along comes with when you become a super being, or you also get, other things normal humans, you get enhanced, like your strength, speed, and durability. But yeah, so I think they, say that at minimum that it's like, compared to like a little above a peak human athlete, Olympic athlete. So when it comes to strength, speed, and durability. So yeah. But besides that, although Mr. Lindsley Owsley, is it Lindsley or Leland? I forgot already. But his abilities to fly or glide at first were limited, but now, I mean, he can full on fly. But I think it's still at a small distance. However, it's also comes with a caveat that he has to either jump from a height of like 20 feet or something like that. Although they have shown abilities where he have just like stood still and I guess just jumped in the air and flew. But I guess at the peak and base of it, yeah, he can fly, and I think at the current moment it's only like about 15 feet in the air that he can fly, and he can fly up to a speed of like 30 miles per hour. But once again, that also determines on how high up that he jumps from. So like, let's say if he jumped out of a helicopter and started flying down, it's a lot faster than, let's say, if he jumped off a bridge off the ground or something like that. He could fly a lot faster from a higher height. And of course, that serum that he took to help him gave them the ability to fly. It also, over the time, made him feed into those animalistic traits, like a bird. His bones are hollow, so making it easier for him to fly. His hands. This is why I kept the hands on, not the authentic claw ones, but his actual nails can grow very dense and to a point where they can rip through bone and flesh with ease. The other metal claws are just add-ons, and he usually on basically just to help him fight. So basically, they're like brass knuckles to him. Then, yeah. Oh, I think his coat also helps him in whatever manner. Yeah, I don't think it's nothing technically special. I think it's just more in a degree of like it just helps him. I don't know. Take in like the wind currents to help him fly. So I think that's the reason he wears that overcoat. I just remember that being said or stated somewhere or the other. But regardless of the fact, yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be special design, but anywho, he, although you can't see it here, he has leg supports because he did hurt his legs somewhere. But once again, I don't think that's really neither here nor there in the form of like his abilities, anything like that. I think that's actually a handicap that he has. But he has a healing factor, not to a point like a Wolverine or Deadpool, where if he loses a limb, he can grow it back. But he can heal a lot faster than the average human or most people, and of course his senses are a lot sharper. Although once again, his eyesight and hearing, although it's still not as strong as someone like a Wolverine, they are really heightened to a degree. And of course, like I said, with his heightened senses, durability, he also has superhuman agility and reflexes. And he also has superhuman strength, of course, like I said. And I think that he can lift up to like around 600 pounds, something like that. So with ease. So although he can't, I think he can't pick like a car over his head, pick a car up over his head or anything like that. But he definitely can. Let me see, what's around 600 pounds? Like let's say a gorilla. I think a gorilla is under 600 pounds. Yes, the owl can throw and bench press and throw a gorilla. Oh, yeah. Oh wait. So anywho, thought I'd just give you a visual to some degree. Okay. Whoop. So despite all the things that, all the few things that I don't like about this actual action figure, I am still quite happy that we finally got a new character, it being the Owl, and it's in his almost first appearance look instead of, like I say, the live action version of him. But with that being said, let's go ahead and size him up. So representing the 136 scale action figure or toy size, we have Herbie from the Toy Biz Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom multi-pack. I'm just going to start saying that now. Multi-pack. And I can't remember. It was somewhere back in the early 2000s. With the Herbie accessory that came in. It is standing 2 inches tall. All right. So that's the average 136 scale action figure or toy size. Don't know who collect that size, but it's there. So representing the 1/18th scale action figure size, we have Xeno Strikes 3 minute project, who I like to call the waist high ninja guy, Gary for short. All right. And these little projects, 3 minute projects, or what are they called? They just snap on. They're not Gundam. It's not gunplay. Anyway, he stands like a little under 4 inches tall, so that's like 3¼ inches. So he's a 1/18th scale action figure. So yeah, what do they call it? Model kits, whatever, something like that. Anywho, representing the average 1/12 scale 6-inch action figure size, we have Stan the Man, my main man, Stan, the Marvel Legend Stan Lee action figure, which stands at a whopping 6 inches tall, the average 1/12 scale action figure. But representing the 1/10th scale 7-inch action figure size, we have the Nada Homebody Body NT03 action figure. This is why I call him Buck, the bigger figure, because saying Nada Homebody Body NT-03 just sound like a mouthful. But anywho, he stands at a whopping 7 inches tall, which is the average 1/10 scale action figure. So that means that Mr. Owsley here stands at, let me see, oh, he's actually taller than he's supposed to be because he's 6 1/4 at the hairline. And I guess at the Wolverine, why can I talk? He's 6.5 inches tall. Anywho, but yeah, in comic size, he's supposed to be 5'11". But in action figure form, he's 6 1/4. So there you have it. Whoop, whoop. All right. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. So thanks for stopping by, Mr. Owsley. See you around soon. You can leave now. But whoop. Hey, you forgot about your pet. Ow, Hootie. Ah, well, I'm pretty sure he'll come back for him, or Hootie will just go find him. What do you say, fella? You know your way home? Huh? Should you go? Well, off you go. Whoop. Well, there you have it, kiddos. That's the end of this video. So, until I see you in the next one, here's some advice I would give you when you don't have anything else to do. Take this little piece of advice that was given to me by my old mother when I was younger. Just go somewhere and play. See you in the next one, guys. Ta-ta for now.